Congratulations, if you're watching this video, that means you are pre-approved. What does that mean? Well, we're going to cover that in this video, so just sit back, take some notes, pause the video if you have to, and let me know if you have any questions. In this video, we're going to discuss what happens next as you're pre-approved, the upfront costs that you can expect as you're out there shopping for a house, the loan process once you do go under contract, and then finally, the do's and don'ts when you're buying a house. So what's next? Well, what's next is we need to schedule your pre-approval meeting. In that meeting, we'll discuss a lot of the things that we're talking about in this video, but you'll have the opportunity to ask questions. The numbers will be more specific to your specific loan and your pre-approval. So if you want to pause this video, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, click on this link or scan this QR code to schedule that pre-approval meeting. I can do it all over the phone. Usually it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to cover everything. So pause this video and reach out to me to schedule that meeting. So next is you meet with your realtor and you go shopping for a house. It's really exciting. You go looking through neighborhoods, decide which is the best house in the best part of town that meets your needs. You find that dream house, and ultimately you and your realtor will decide on an offer price to present to the seller, and hopefully the seller will accept your offer and you guys will move forward. Now, when they do accept your offer, there are some upfront expenses. What are the upfront expenses? Well, let's talk about that. There's three big ones. Two of these will count towards your closing costs. In other words, you will get a credit for them. Even though you're paying for them up front, they will be deducted from your overall closing costs. So you don't have to pay them in addition to the cash to close that we've discussed and that we will discuss. Now, the two that go towards your closing costs are the inspection and the earnest money. I'm sorry, the earnest money and the appraisal, number 2 and number 3, not number 1. The inspection does not go towards your closing costs. The inspection is usually $200 to $400. Earnest money is about 1% of the purchase price, and the appraisal is anywhere from $650 to $800. The inspection, again, $250 to $400. This is basically a licensed inspector will go and look at the property. They'll get their hands dirty. They'll go up in the attic and crawl space and make sure that all the major systems, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, are all working properly. The inspection is very highly recommended by your realtor. It is not credited towards your closing costs because me, the lender, we don't require this, even though 99.9% of buyers will usually get an inspection anyways, just to make sure that you're covered. There's an inspector looking over everything for you. Earnest money is usually 1% of purchase price. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but typically it's about 1% of the purchase price. So if you're buying a $300,000 property, your earnest money deposit would be $3,000. It's similar to a deposit that you would put down on an apartment, a security deposit. What it does is it basically, it's after the seller accepts your offer, and it requires the seller to remove the property from any marketing. So no other buyers can swoop in and take the property from you. It's going to be your property. So the earnest money is you saying, hey, I'm serious about this, so I have some skin in the game. I'm willing to forfeit or give up 1% of the purchase price, and I'm going to give it to the title company in order for you to hold this property long enough for me to secure the final approval on my loan, for me to get the financing taken care of. If the deal does fall through, you usually will get that earnest money back. Now, it must be paid with a traceable paper trail, no cash. Don't pay for your earnest money with cash or with something that we don't know about. It does get credited towards your closing costs. It's not on top of your closing costs. The appraisal is about $650 to $800. It tells you how much the house is worth. It's similar to an inspection, but the appraiser is not a licensed inspector. They can't tell you if the HVAC, if the electrical, the plumbing is all working properly. They're basically walking around the property and they're looking for any visible lender required repairs. In other words, are there any safety or health hazards? And then most importantly, how much is the house worth? Are you getting a good deal on it? And what you need to know about appraisals is that they must be paid up front, just like the other two upfront expenses. Appraisers do not work for us, the lender. They're third-party independent contractors. So we have to pay them up front because they want to get paid for their work. They don't want to go out there, the deal falls through, and all of a sudden there's an invoice that hasn't been paid for, and they did work for nothing. They're only concerned with the market value of the house. They only want to know how much the house is worth, and the typical fee is about $675 to $800. Now, let's talk about the loan process. Let's say that you make an offer on your dream house. The offer gets accepted by the seller. What happens after that? Well, the loan process takes about 30 days, starting on when the contract is signed. That day is day number 1. Now, the process can be complicated and stressful, but we're here for you every step of the way. Here's a couple do's and don'ts. Do keep credit, income, employment, and your assets as is on the loan application. Please don't change a whole bunch of things around. Keep as much money in the bank as possible. I tell my clients to live off of ramen noodles. Please don't go out to eat all the time. Go make any big expenses, any big purchases. Keep as much money in the bank as possible. Do pay for your earnest money and your appraisal through your bank account. You can pay for both of these with the credit card, but it makes things really complicated, so try to pay for it out of your bank account. Let me know prior to visiting any local builders. If you're going to look at new construction, please let me know. There's some pros and cons, and a lot of times I know a sales representative at that builder. If you tell me ahead of time, I can pair you up with that really good sales representative that I've worked with in the past, and I can still do your loan. Please keep a positive attitude while you're going through the loan process. Don't make any large or cash deposits or transfers into your bank account. It will get flagged. The underwriter will ask about it. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get the loan or it's a red flag. The loan's going to get denied. No, it just means that it's going to be asked about by the underwriter. We'd rather have them not ask for too many things. Don't withdraw all of your down payment. Some people think, hey, I'm pre-approved, I'm under contract, I'm going to go take out $10,000 from the bank, put it in my sock drawer so that I don't spend it. No, please don't do that. Don't make changes to your credit, to your income, to your employment, or your assets. Keep everything the same. Don't go changing jobs or accepting a different job offer. Even if you feel like you're going to be paid more, it's obviously going to be better for you. Please consult with me prior to doing that because it could mean some different outcomes, some consequences on your loan app. Don't allow anyone to pull your credit, and don't give up right away. Sometimes it takes a while. I tell people sometimes that perfect house finds them rather than they finding that perfect house. Sometimes it feels like, oh man, you've looked at 20, 30 houses and you just can't find the right one, or your offer keeps, you can't get your offer accepted. Just hang in there. Finally, I like to tell people that buying a house is a lot like an airplane ride. In the beginning, it's kind of nervous, it's kind of fun and exciting. You're going through the airport, you're boarding your plane, you got those butterflies in your stomach. The airplane is getting ready to take off, and then you finally in the sky. That's kind of like what you're in right now. That's the process that you're in right now. You're getting pre-approved. You're out there looking at houses. It's really fun and exciting. Now, in the middle of the flight, sometimes you're looking out the window and you get a little bit of turbulence. It starts to get a little bit bumpy. When that does happen, that's when we're in underwriting. That's after the contract is accepted. Sometimes the underwriter will ask for items that you've already given us. Sometimes the loan can go a little bit sideways. The train can get a little bit off the tracks. And it's me and my team's job to get it back on the tracks, because I promise you, eventually that plane will land, and it'll land with the keys in your hand. I promise. So whenever things do get a little bit stressful, I'm going to say, hey, remember that airplane ride I talked to you about? This is the turbulence that I was speaking of. We know that it could get a little bit bumpy, but I always get the plane to land on time and at the destination with the keys in your hand. Finally, pause this video. If you don't already have my contact information, my phone number, my email address, here's a QR code to schedule a time to talk to me. Please let me know if you have any questions throughout this process. I'm here for you. Congratulations again. Let's go find you that house. Bye-bye.